Welcome back to the BettorOff Propcast for the Week 15 matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. With me, as always, PropHolliday. Dan, it's good to be back in the saddle. I missed it last week, but I was honestly getting concerned because I didn't think I was going to get my job back. I thought this was going to be – I thought I was Drew Bledsoe stepping out, and then PropHolliday was Tom Brady coming in, and I was never going to see the light of day again. But by the grace of God, I got another chance to come back. And I've worked my way up the injury report, and I'm back. Good to be here, and especially good to be here because we have probably the best Thursday night matchup of the year. Just in time, Week 15. We're pushing for the playoffs. We got an AFC West showdown between the 9-4 Chiefs and the 8-5 Chargers. Kansas City currently winning the AFC West. They are currently the third seed in the AFC playoffs, but the Chargers only a game back, second in the AFC West, and they're in the fifth seed of the playoffs. So they are the first non-division winner in the playoffs right now. So they are. We're in LA. Chargers are a game back of the Chiefs. We have the highest total prediction at 52.5 of all Thursday night football games this year. Week 15. I am super excited to get into it. Let's bring in our resident expert, Mr. PropHolliday. What are you start off just gut feeling? How do you think this game is going to go? What are you looking forward to? Et cetera.
Gut feeling, fireworks, man. I do think it's going to be a really good game. Obviously, we had a lull kind of. The Thursday night games, they've sucked. I mean, last week actually was pretty good with Pittsburgh and Minnesota in the second half. But no, I'm very excited for this game. I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan. Obviously, aside from my own team, Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers, he was the Rams defensive coordinator, so I kind of got a soft spot for him there. But watching Mahomes and Herbert go at it, I think we're looking at a quarterback, battle that we're going to see for the next 10 years. And I think if this starts going in a direction where we know who Mahomes is, he's been to two Super Bowls, he's won one, he's got an MVP. If Herbert can ascend to that level, and I think the Chargers have the potential to be a Super Bowl contending team, even out of that wild card spot, I think this game could start conversations of, well, who would you really rather have, Mahomes or Herbert? Obviously, Mahomes is that guy, but I think Herbert could be that quarterback. I think the discussions start now, especially if they can take over the division later in the season. But I'm very, very excited for this Thursday night game.
Yeah, so like I said before, not only is PropHolliday predicting fireworks, the sports books are as well. Over currently set at 52.5, which is the highest of any Thursday night game. It's one of the highest of the season, just bar none. Currently, the Chiefs are favored at -3 and -154 on the money line on FanDuel, and the Chargers are +3 at +132 on the money line. So, yeah, I totally agree. I think this game has a ton of potential to show a bunch of different things. The Chiefs obviously started the season as Super Bowl favorites and then slipped to somewhere around like maybe the 10th best odds. And now here they are back up again. But the Chargers have had their ups and downs, but they have been a good, solid team all year, which has been great to see, obviously, for the fans out in LA. But I'm super excited for this. I don't know how many times I can say that, but let's just go ahead and get into the bread and butter of the Propcast, which is the betting. So before we do that, got to touch on the Propcast parlay. I know we've been there, done that. Everybody here knows what the Propcast parlay is, and nobody could be more excited than they already are. But just in case you forgot or you're not familiar, I'm going to pick a leg. PropHolliday is going to pick a leg. And you, the viewers, listeners, fans, are going to pick the third leg of the Propcast parlay. It's going to be up on our Twitter page. We are going to place a $25 bet on the parlay. And if it wins, you have a chance to win by just following BettorOff on Twitter and retweeting the tweet. And that's all you got to do. I know my leg, before getting into it, is juicy. I love juicing up the odds. So there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of money to be won. All you got to do, follow us on Twitter at BettorOff Sports. Look for the post later this afternoon about the which leg you guys want us to pick, and then come back and retweet the final promotion somewhere around between 5 and 6 o'clock when we get that all squared away. And then if it hits, you have your chance to win free money. You're going to be watching the game anyway, so let's just take advantage of that while we can. So, without further ado, I am going to start off with my leg for the Propcast parlay, which is going to be kind of riding off the back of what PropHolliday said. I am going Justin Herbert over 2.5 passing touchdowns. So I think Herbert is going to throw. That's plus 170. So it's a little bit juicy on the more than a normal over under passing touchdowns. But I think PropHolliday said it all well. Herbert is playing in a primetime game to tie for the division against the Chiefs, who have been the team of the past 4 years. He wants to be in that conversation of who would you rather have, Mahomes or Herbert, and playing in front of the home fans. It's going to be crazy in LA. I would not be surprised. And I think the over under 52.5, I think it's going to stay pretty true. And if we're seeing that type of scoring in this game, or it could be over 52.5, if we're going to see that type of scoring that we predict in this game, there are going to be touchdowns to be had. And I think that I do like Justin Herbert to throw 3 of those 3 touchdowns in this game. And they're getting a big weapon in Caden Allen back off the COVID list. And I just think it's been kind of interesting this year because we've had this conversation so many times about young QBs on prime time in division matchups, and they've, for lack of a better term, they've sucked a lot of them this year, but there's no time for them to suck. It's week 15. If they want to win this division, this is a must-win matchup for them because the Chiefs have been rolling. If they want to come out and win the AFC West, and heck, who knows what's going to happen in the last 4 weeks? Maybe compete for a bye. Who knows? I think that this is going to be a real gut check for Justin Herbert. And as much as I do have some pause, I like him to throw 3 or more passing touchdowns in the game. That's plus 170. That is going to be my play for the Propcast parlay. So, Mr. Bob, what do you got for us on your end?
No, well, first off, I should have figured, we went into this, we were going to disguise our picks. It was going to be fresh. When I saw a Chargers jersey, which I presume that's what you're wearing, I had to figure one of your plays would have leaned Chargers. Obviously, I like Herbert. I do like this one. You mentioned he gets Caden Allen back. Another piece, Chris Jones, probably the best defensive player on the Kansas City Chiefs defense, expected to be out on the COVID list. They do get Snead back, the corner, which is going to help a little bit, but I love the play. I definitely love it at the odds you got. Plus 170 seems like great value. And just looking at it in general, the Chargers have gotten in shootouts at least every other game all season, or every other 2 games. We saw 41-37 against the Steelers. We saw 37-21 last week against the Giants, 41-22 against the Bengals, 47-42 against the Browns, and then the previous matchup between these two, 30-24. So we're seeing 50 and above numerous times on this charge against this Chargers defense. I do love the defense, but they've given up points. They've been gashed by the run. They give up the middle of the field. I do like their secondary a bit. They do have a great way of making plays. Nasir Adderley, Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James, a lot of talent there. But they are giving up a lot of points. So I definitely like the over. Kind of ties into my straight play for this game. By the way, though I'm talking, and by my pick, you're going to think I hate Patrick Mahomes. I do not hate Patrick Mahomes. I respect Patrick Mahomes, but I think he throws at least 1 interception this game. It is plus 120. Now, Mahomes has thrown an interception in 12 interceptions in 13 games. He's thrown at least 1 interception in 9 of 13. He's been conservative over the last 2 games, so people go, oh, no, that's behind him. Well, they were in the driver's seat against Denver, who does not have an offense. They ran the ball the whole time, and they really dominated the Raiders from start to finish. There was no need for Mahomes to drop back and go in gunslinger mode and start forcing throws. So because this Chargers offense is so potent, and it ties in with your play, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think we're going to see Mahomes slinging it, and if there's any chance that Herbert shows him up, he is going to be throwing the ball at will. The first matchup against these 2 teams, Mahomes throws 2 interceptions against Staley's defensive scheme. They do a great job of disguising coverages. I do not think Mahomes can obviously figure these out, but it just takes one. It takes a tip ball, a batted ball, through the hands of somebody else. I do think Mahomes ends up throwing a pick, especially based on what we've seen all season, and you're getting it at plus 120. So my play is Patrick Mahomes to throw at least one interception, plus 120.
All right, yeah. So just for transparency's sake, the jersey is a Chargers jersey. For all of our Propcast listener faithful, we had this discussion. It was back, must have been like week 3 or 4 or whatever. This was actually the jersey that I got from the Caesars promotion. And Prop, do you remember who I said whose jersey I was going to get?
I think it was LaDainian Tomlinson.
It is indeed a LaDainian Tomlinson jersey. So although it is a Chargers jersey, it's more. I'm wearing it more for the fest. It's like a Christmas sweater around Christmas time. It's not necessarily because I'm rooting for the Chargers. It's just you gotta. This is the first Propcast we've had since with the Chargers playing since that. So yes, it is an LT jersey. I do like the Chargers, but not enough to have this be replace my Eagles jersey or anything like that. So just for full transparency. So we got PropHolliday's play, which is Mahomes interception. So we're really opposites right there. I think Herbert's going to throw 3 touchdowns. He thinks Mahomes is going to throw an interception. Porque no los dos, in my opinion. But now we're going to go into the same game parlays. We're going to save the best for last. I'm going to go first. So I have a 7-legger. It is plus 6,600, so it's 10 to win 670, which is ambitious as we normally are and as I normally am. But actually, for 7 legs, that's pretty low. I normally get to plus 6,600 through 4 or 5 legs, so it's actually a little bit more likely to happen. So per leg, not total. So we're going to start out kind of flying in the face of everything I've said so far, but we'll see. Tyreek Hill to score 2 touchdowns. This is the first time I've ever had a 2-touchdown scorer on one of my Propcast same game parlays. I'm on Barstool Sportsbook with these. I like Tyreek Hill 2 touchdowns. I'm not just saying that because I'm in my fantasy playoffs and he's carried my team this entire year, and I'm just trying to get myself some good luck. But Tyreek Hill 2 touchdowns. I am hoping, and in my mind for the game's going to go for, I do like over 52.5. If this is going to be, if I'm going to come out here and say I think Herbert's going to throw 3 touchdown passes, I don't think it's going to be a game where Justin Herbert throws 3 touchdown passes and the Chiefs roll over and the Chargers cruise. So if that's going to happen, it's going to be a both teams in the 30s, both teams in the 40s type of shootout. So if that's going to be the case, if the Chiefs are going to score 4 or 5 touchdowns, there's really no reason for me to not like this Tyreek Hill 2 touchdown play. So that's the first leg. The second leg is just Austin Eckler TD anytime. So although I do like Herbert to throw 3 touchdown passes, sometimes you got to hedge your bets a little bit, or you could have both. Like I said, if this is going to be a 30, 40 point game for the Chargers, an Eckler TD, he's got 9 touchdowns on the season, just rushing, not even counting his receiving touchdowns. He's got 9 rushing touchdowns on the season. I think his odds were somewhere like minus 110 for this to happen, pretty even money. But I do like an Austin Eckler TD just in case Herbert doesn't throw 6 touchdown passes. Eckler is going to be the guy I think that they're going to try and get in the end zone. Now these next 2 plays we are sticking with the game script. Both Herbert and Mahomes over in passing yards. Just a primetime AFC West quarterback showdown dogfight. I got it. Herbert is right now over 293.5, and Mahomes is over 290.5. So they are neck and neck right there. But if we can see a game, if we can see worse games where both QBs throw over 300 yards, these are bets that I feel pretty good making, especially if I think it's going to go over 52. And I think we're going to have that Herbert versus Mahomes conversation that we kind of wanted. Then I like both of those plays. So both the QBs over. With that, I'm also going to throw in Herbert over 15.5 rush yards. If this is going to be the game, if this is going to be the statement game for Justin Herbert, why not rush for 16 yards? Then on top of that, I have 2 more legs. I have Travis Kelsey. Almost said Jason Kelsey. Classic mistake. Travis Kelsey over 67.5 receiving yards. I think, although I have Tyreek getting 2 touchdowns, I think Kelsey is going to be the main passing target over the middle to get those big chunks, get 67 yards probably pretty easily. I kind of like him. If I had alts, I might put him up somewhere around like alt, maybe 80 yards or so. But Kelsey over 67.5. And then we touched on him earlier. Caden Allen is back. And again, if I'm going to have both quarterbacks throw for roughly 300 yards, those yards got to go somewhere. So Caden Allen over 74.5 receiving yards and Kelsey over 67.5 receiving yards. So that is 2 Tyreek Hill touchdowns, an Austin Eckler touchdown. Herbert and Mahomes both over on passing. Herbert over on rushing. Kelsey and Allen over on receiving. That is a mouthful. It is plus 6,600, 10 to win $670. My luck, I know I'm going to put all these bets in, and we are going to get a Ravens Dolphins snooze fest. I can just reading this, I can just feel it. I can just feel the universe coming to smack me in the face for the hubris of assuming that this is going to be a fantastic shootout, dogfight, division type of game. But that's it. Plus 6,600, 10 to win 670. Bob, what do you got for us? What is hitting this week? You've been so close. You've been right there. You've been right there. But this is the one. This is the one. And what do you got for us?
Sure. So I a little bit fewer legs. I'm on 5 legs, and I'll start with one that's kind of similar to what you're saying. I do think Travis Kelsey gets back on track. He had a quiet couple of games these last few weeks. I have his alt receiving yards at 70.5. And I think he gets in the end zone. This Chargers defense, they give up, I think it was something like 13. I'm sorry, they give up 10 touchdowns, 2 tight ends this season, which is good or not good. It's the second worst in the NFL. So 10 touchdowns to opposing tight ends for the Chargers ties into the fact that they cannot defend the middle of the field. So I think Kelsey gets 70 plus and he gets a touchdown. I'm also on Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 12.5 receiving yards. Since he's come back from injury, he's had at least 2 receptions in each game. He was involved quite a bit in the first meeting against the Chargers in the passing game. Since he's returned, 13 receiving yards, 28 receiving yards. Last week against the Raiders, they dominated from start to finish. He still had 3 receptions, but he only had 5 yards. So 12.5 seems extremely reasonable for him. It could be a screen pass. Then I am on our guy, Justin Herbert. I think he runs one in. I think if he gets inside the 20, you talk about his over on rushing yards, or they get on that 1 yard line, I think Herbert, he nails one in. So Kelsey and Herbert to score. Kelsey over 70.5. Clyde Edwards-Helaire over 12.5 receiving. And my last one kind of ties into your first play with Herbert. Over 24.5 home total points. So that means I think they score at least 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals, or 4 touchdowns. We're all praying for the shootout. If the books get the under, they're gonna. It's a primetime game with two high profile teams. Everyone in there, like my mom will probably watch this game with my dad. That's what they're expecting. High points. So the books need this to go under. I want this to go over, and I'm big on Herbert and Kelsey. We sprinkle in a little Clyde Edwards-Helaire and the home total over 24.5. You get an idea which way I'm leaning. Obviously, Mahomes come December, it's something to be messed with. But we're seeing a Chargers team that's really putting their stamp out there. They're the first wild card spot, as you mentioned it. I do think they're a legit Super Bowl contender with the talent on that defense, the defensive-minded head coach, and that offense has weapons with a quarterback that we think is ascending into that top tier. So 5 legs, 25 to win, 1,187, and I'm riding it, man.
Just for shits and giggles, you have $1,000 to put on the money line of one of these teams. Which one are you going to take? Off the books, but on the record. Who do you like?
Chargers.
Oh, he likes the Chargers.
I feel like the public's on the Chiefs. They've strung together a bunch of wins. The Chargers have looked ugly in a couple of their wins. I mean, they dominated the Giants. That doesn't mean anything to me. They did go into Cincinnati a couple weeks ago and pull in the dominant fashion. But this is really this is a statement game. And it's their chance to take over the division again with a couple weeks left. I'm taking the home team as home underdogs. You give me a home underdog division game, I'm going with the underdog every time, unless their name is the Detroit Lions or Atlanta Falcons.
All right, well, you heard it here first. So We are looking forward to a fantastic Week 15 game, and like we said, we're going to be excited to watch the game, even if it is a Dolphins Ravens snooze fest. Let's pray that that's not going to happen. But be sure to download the BettorOff app and get your picks in before the game tomorrow. Make sure to follow us on social media. On Twitter, it is at BettorOff Sports. That's better with an O. That's where you're going to find our Propcast parlay promotion later today. Follow us on Instagram at BettorOff, TikTok at BettorOff, anywhere with their social media. Follow us there, and let's hit a fucking bet this week. What do we say? My God, we have been doing this thing for 15 weeks. We've had our ups and downs, but it's about time we hit a fucking bet. And for Prop Holiday, I'm Dan Skidlowski. Let's hope for some good football and let's hope for some good bets. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Take care.